Welcome back to the second part of our series in the history of Fota House in Arboretum. As you can see here to your right, two silver fir, one European, one US. And the tallest tree in the Arboretum, it stands at 40 metres. An impressive tree. And to your left is another silver fir, European silver fir, standing in all their glory. And I've been here since the early 1800s. As we progress along to your right, it's a tree fern all the way from New Zealand. And directly in front of us, a Catalpa ovala, planted in 1941 and all the way from China. As we turn around here, in front of us, the most unusual Mediterranean tree. It's a stone pine planted here in 1847 and still hasn't grown that big, but a typical Mediterranean tree. It's a credit even today for the gardeners that are working here to keep the place in such pristine condition. And where trees have come down and died of age or from storms, they've replanted. As you can see, all young trees are coming up around the gardens. A credit to, as I say, to the gardeners that are here and that are looking after it. As you sweep around here now, to your left as you're coming around onto it, it's a maple planted in 1937 from Korea. Looks a bit worse to wear, but still surviving. And here to your left, a pine tree planted again in 1847 all the way from the Himalayas, standing in all its glory. And as we move up, we look at the most unusual tree that was planted in 2008 in memory of Jim, one of the gardeners. Lovely monument we planted here in his honour. And here stands on the side of the house a common oak spreading, and it was planted in 1851 by the Lord of the Manor himself. To the right we've got a red oak for eastern North America and was planted by Jack Lynch or Taoiseach in 1979. And next to that we've got a western red cedar planted by the American ambassador to Ireland in 1980. Again, history in the gardens, where would you get it? As you can see in front here, the tree that cover, the canopy spreads out and nothing grows under it. The most beautiful evergreen. So numerous to mention with all the trees and shrubs. It's a glory to be even here. And as we progress along the path here, we have a Japanese cedar planted again in the early mid 1800s. One tree that has thrown out a grove of trees. It's an unusual species, but a splendour to behold. 32 trees all from the one main root. And here to your right you have a Crimean pine which stands so graceful, planted again in 1847. A beautiful specimen of a tree and still stands after all the storms and hurricanes we got. And here in front of us now is a splendid Californian redwood all the way from Oregon. Again planted in the 1840s, late 1840s. A weeping cedar or a weeping beech directly in front of us. And to your left you've got a Japanese cedar, again planted in 1847. And here in front of you now you've a cousin palm from China. There was a line of these planted in 1916, as you see under it. Swing to your left, there's a line of them along the driveway, planted in 1916. And as we stroll along the driveway here, on your left you've got a line of yew trees all the way from Europe, again planted in the mid 1800s. As we go along the drive here we're approaching the orangery, which in the early 1900s was left go into disrepair. It was semi-derelict when the university bought the estate, and since the OPW have taken it over they've done the most wonderful job in restoring it. It now has grown oranges and lemons in the past few years. And this is looking at the orangery from the rear, and it's facing the house. As you can see, it has been restored to its former glory, and its plants inside are now there's oranges and lemons still growing away. A beautiful building. As we leave the orangery now we walk down, approaching the rear of the house itself. The views from the house, looking up at the orangery, looking out at the lawns, spectacular. And spectacular for the people that live there and enjoyed it, so we know the nation can enjoy it. Again, thanks to the wonderful work done by the groundsmen and the keepers that are looking after it. The lawns are impeccable. The hedges kept in perfect condition, flowers planted, greens cut, just a beautiful spectacle. This is the splendour of the house as we look at it. And you can imagine when the people were occupying this back in the 1800s and the early 1900s, it was a spectacle to look out and look at the lawns in front where they used horse ride, have parties here, and far over the hill was where we started our video. And we'll conclude in our next episode of the walled-in gardens where the glass houses are and the Italian garden.